An incredibly common approach in the coaching industry is to get clients pushing on through the fear. Now, if you've hung out with me for a while with my imposter syndrome work, which I've specialized in for over 2 decades, you'll know it's not an approach I advocate. I do not think we should be fear-free before we take action. Sometimes that deep breath and let's just do it is actually a really healthy way to build the courage that then leads to confidence. I talk a lot about micro courage creating confidence. But what happens when we push on through resistance that's caused by the nervous system? That's actually caused by a primal fear response in the amygdala in the brain. Part of its role is processing emotions. That then kicks off the hypothalamus pituitary adrenal gland HPA axis stress response, fear response of fight, flight, freeze, fawn. When we push on through that kind of fear, what we're asking a client to do is to override their nervous system's no with a cognitive brain's yes. Now, some clients can do that, but it can also lead to internal harm. They can be pushing down fear-based emotions. They can be increasing the load on their nervous system. It can cause the vagus nerve, which is the communication link between the primal part of the brain and so much of the body, the nervous system and the organs, even the heart rate. It can cause it to actually become stuck in fear. It can lead to hypervigilance. What happens as well when we push on through the fear, the primal part of the brain takes over. It deprioritizes blood flow to the prefrontal cortex that comes up with your best ideas, yeah? And when that happens, the actions we take tend to be less effective and less helpful, and sometimes more destructive than they would have been if we'd done it from a place of grounded confidence and excitement instead of pushing on through that fear. So what I teach in my Master Coach programs instead is to clear the fear and do it anyway. Because pushing on through resistance without clearing the biological reason for the resistance can cause harm. Sometimes you can do that with mindset type coaching, because sometimes the resistance is actually a thought. It's just a worry that if you bring it out and you shine the light on it, it'll go, and you'll realize it didn't really matter. But if it's the client's nervous system that's actually pressing the brakes, like the amygdala has become a security guard on the future that the client actually wants, keeping that door locked, and you try and get the client to push on through that, that's not resistance. That is natural, healthy client nervous system fear response. You need to be able to help them to feel safe, to clear that fear without going into therapy, to get them to be able to take that action in ways that are safe and healthy. I teach techniques for this, including techniques that work to help the nervous system without needing to go into the story and the drama. So completely non-verbal techniques for the client, working with the body instead without going into therapy. And moving deeper than the mindset work, because sometimes we really need to, particularly if a client is working with a sticky block or something they've run for decades, or an identity level issue like imposter syndrome, that secret fear of being found out as not good enough and a fraud. So a client holding back from taking action, that resistance, is not always a bad thing. Sometimes it's a sign to you as their coach that they don't feel safe, and we need to be able to help them to create safety, to feel safe, for the nervous system to stand down from red alert, because when they take action from that space, that grounded confidence, that hope, that anticipation, maybe even excitement, the results they get, the breakthroughs they create are incomparable to when they take action from a place of fear.